All right, Cycle News crew, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a really fun adventure bike comparison. We have the Suzuki V Strom 800DE against the standard Suzuki V Strom 800. Now the standard V Strom 800 is exactly that. It's the more street-oriented one, and the DE designation is really for more of the off-road riding. So in this video, we're gonna be breaking down some of the differences between the build-outs of them, how they feel on the road, how they feel on the trail, and which one will be right for you. So due to several factors outside of our control, it's taken over a year for Suzuki to introduce the new V Strom and V Strom 800DE models to the Cycle News staff, but finally we got our hands on both models at the same time to do some back-to-back testing. So the 800, or the standard model, is the more street-biased V Strom, and the 800DE is the more off-road biased V Strom. And you may be surprised at how capable both models actually are. Suzuki also offers the 800 Touring and the 800DE Adventure models, both of which fitted with factory luggage and or trunk and other accessories that the standard 800 and the 800DE don't have. But you'll also be paying more for each one of those bikes. The two bikes here, the 800 and the 800DE, both share the same steel chassis and 776cc parallel twin power plant, but have different suspension components, wheel sizes, cast aluminum on the 800 versus spoked on the 800DE, different brakes, and different electronic adjustments. Now this motor is basically becoming the flagship model for Suzuki. We praised this motor in our reviews of the GSX-8S and the GSX-8R, both of which are fitted with the same base engine as the V Strom 800s. This engine is equally as impressive in the adventure scene. In fact, it's one of the most fun sub 1000cc ADV power plants in the market right now. The low-end grunt is extremely fun on the pavement and works well in the dirt still. The standard quick shift, which works both up and down, is flawless and overall adds to the fun factor. The suspension is going to be the most significant difference on the two bikes. The regular 800 comes standard with 5.9 inches of travel front and rear, while 7.9 inches of front and rear travel comes standard on the 800DE. Obviously that bike is a little bit more off-road geared, and you'll see that in the suspension department. The standard model only includes preload adjustability on the front and rear, while the DE includes preload adjustability, compression, and rebound adjustments. The standard 800 works relatively well for its inexpensive components, and the stock settings seem to be pretty good right out of the box. The 800DE has longer travel and a larger 21-inch front wheel, which makes it a much more dirt-capable ride. Funny enough, it also comes with a 17-inch rear wheel, which is a little bit different than the 18-inch rear wheels that come standard on most dirt-focused adventure bikes. When it comes to the electronics, the standard V Strom has more adjustability than some more expensive adventure bikes, most notably the Yamaha Tenere 700. The Suzukis both have ride-by-wire throttle, 2-mode ABS, unfortunately with no option to turn off the rear ABS completely in the standard model, 3 power output options, and 3 different traction control modes. The 800DE includes more traction control options, including a gravel mode and the option to turn off the ABS completely, which we consider a must-have for any aggressive off-road adventure riding. Both bikes share the same very nice 5-inch TFT dash, which makes it easy to toggle between power, traction control, and ABS options, as well as monitor the basic speed, RPM, fuel level, and other current gear selected options. The standard V Strom includes a taller and wider windscreen, a different bend and narrower tapered aluminum handlebars tailored to riding on the road versus a wider and further swept back handlebars that come on the 800DE. The DE also has a smaller windscreen that provides less wind protection on the road in exchange for better visibility and less chance of bashing you in the face when you're out hitting the trails. Both V Strom models have 5.3 gallons of fuel capacity, which is at the high end of the capacity found on any other mid-size adventure bikes. This means you should be getting well over 250 miles of range, and both bikes are comfortable enough to do that in one sitting. All right, so kind of wrapping things up and finding out which one is best for you out of these two V Strom 800 models. As expected, the standard V Strom is a better street bike. The lower seat height, larger windscreen, and smaller front wheel, along with the radial mounted front brakes, provide outstanding performance, especially for a motorcycle with an MSRP of less than $9,900. And for suspension without a bunch of adjustability, the built-in settings work very well and should appeal to a wide range of riders. Just remember, the standard bike obviously comes with the street tires. That's going to be the dead giveaway that this bike is more of a street-oriented machine. Now the V Strom 800DE isn't as fun to ride on the road, so if that's what you're going to be mainly doing, you're going to want to pick which bike you want accordingly. This bike is not as fun to ride on the street as the standard model, but it is the best choice of the two if you plan on doing any kind of aggressive off-road riding. The additional suspension travel and ground clearance, along with a 21-inch front wheel and more electronic adjustability, including the ability to completely turn off the rear ABS, make it a completely different motorcycle capable of ramping up the fun when the road turns into trail. We were thrilled to spend some time on Suzuki's new V Strom 800 models. The motor is impressive and both bikes have great features for their individual price points. Here's a few things that stand out between each bike. The standard 800's performance with the quick shift and electronic adjustability put it at or near the front of the ADV pack compared to any other bike close to this price point. This bike is a solid choice if you primarily plan on riding pavement and only do a few minor forays into the dirt. It's still a bummer you totally can't deactivate the rear ABS. It is comfortable, capable, and very fun in the road, and it can explore some well-maintained dirt roads with ease. The 800DE, on the other hand, has more competition in terms of the off-road capable 21-inch front wheel mid-size ADV category. If you prefer somewhat of a lower seat height on your adventure bike, the V Strom 800DE will allow your feet to touch the ground a little easier than most of the other bikes in the class. The motor is among the best in the category at any price point, but with a ready-to-ride weight of 510 pounds, it is on the heavy side. This puts it at about 40 more pounds than the Yamaha Tenere and 60 more than the Aprilia Touareg, with a small portion of that weight only added due to the extra fuel capacity. That being said, it still feels heavy and the suspension is a bit mushy compared to the other bikes in the similar price range. It's also very soft when compared to the more off-road focused KTM 890 Adventure R, but that bike also has a $4,000 higher MSRP. However, with a little bit of fine tuning, the V Strom 800DE would be on par with some of the other higher cost alternatives. If you're in the market for your next mid-size ADV bike, both of the Suzuki 800s should be on your short list. That being said, taking what you're going to be riding as far as terrain is going to heavily impact your choice here, street versus off-road. Alright guys, thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate you checking out our newest videos. Be sure to like, follow, and subscribe, and as always, check out the Cycle News magazine, which comes out for free every Monday night at cyclenews.com. Be sure to stay tuned for more comparison videos like this, and until then, we'll see you guys out on the trail.